Welcome to the SWBL podcast tonight, presented by 1356 Public House. With me are the Commissioner Sam Skibbe.
Hello, Brian. Nice to see you again. Thanks for having us.
Nice
1356. We are here
live
for the final podcast.
Yeah. Gus, the Players Union representative.
All of those titles are now gone, Brian. It's now just front office.
So
New
there's
website.
a disconnect between the podcast host and the front office.
There is a big disconnect.
And then just Spencer's here too. So
Hey, how's it going, Brian?
Good,
Thanks
buddy.
for having me out here at 1356 Public House off 141 in Big Bend.
yeah.
The lights are on out here. It's going to be a nice night. We're the only people outside, Brian.
No, we are. It is a packed house in there, so
Yes.
we were the only place for us to sit was outside, which is fine. We've got beer, we've got water, we've got
plenty.
some food coming. So if you get a chance, get out to 1356, support our podcast host, show them some love. And again, just a reminder to all the players, the Friday night social event will be held here
At this table.
at this table.
and that room. Should we show them?
No.
Okay.
No.
It's over there.
It's right there.
There's like a wedding
right
party
over
or
there.
something going on. Nice.
That way.
So, plan on being here for that Friday night social event when we kick off Season 20. And tonight is all about Season 20. It is our Season 20 preview. And we're going to jump into a lot of things. Awards, Hall of Fame nominees, the Alumni Game that is very highly anticipated. We're going to talk, obviously, about the competition and the teams and some of the storylines that are kind of going into Season 20. And then we'll kind of wrap everything up. But it should be a fun night. Just talking Wiffleball, talking SWBL, and we're going to have a great time.
Yes, we are. Cheers.
Cheers, fellas.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Cheers to 20 years.
20
years.
years.
Yeah.
We
20
can-
years,
the
20
league
beers.
can almost drink legally.
That's a good one. Next year, that should be something
Yeah.
we do a theme-wise. I like that.
Yeah,
Brian.
maybe the legal just kicking for kegs or something.
That'd be it. Maybe
Yeah.
we could get a sponsor. Who knows? That's an
Hey.
interesting idea.
A 20 for
Like it's our
21.
21st
great idea.
season.
Yeah.
Huh. All right. Everybody
Anyway.
listening out there.
We can
Yeah.
fight in a war, but we can't drink.
Yep. All right, well, let's start off with the first game of the season. Game 1, which, if you are unfamiliar, it is a fully produced wiffleball game, the only one in the country. And this year, it is between the Astros and the Expos. So, guys, the first thing I wanted to talk to you guys about, what are you most interested in seeing from this first game?
You know, for one thing I will say, there are other fully produced wiffleball games around the country, just not the way we do it, with the pre-game stuff, the post-game stuff, everything in between. CCW did an all-star event, so they corrected me on Twitter one time. And I did watch it. It's really good. It's different, right? It's our league game. It actually counts for what we're doing. So it's the only one that we have the announcers talking the whole time, all the way through with pre-game, post-game. I am really looking forward to the rivalry matchup between the Astros and the Expos, showing it in a fully produced way. So I'm really excited to see the ins and outs that Edlo and I can come up with in commentary. Spencer will be our on-field reporter, and tomorrow is going to be super exciting to see how the game plays out. I'm sure you're nervous.
Not nervous at all. No, I'm very excited. The history goes back a long way with the Expos.
It's gonna be fun.
They got us a couple times in a row early, and now we've had the upper hand over the past couple years. But it should be a good matchup. Some fun players to watch. Jeremy, speaking of him real quick, he was obviously a longtime Astro, now the number 2 pitcher for the Expos, replacing Brett in that role. So it'll be good to see him. It'll be and good to see the guys too. Seeing Jimmy, seeing Kevin.
And you guys will probably do the pregame shotgun before the game
I
together.
I hope so.
Last year was only 4 Expos, but I assume it's going to be everybody tomorrow.
I hope so. I'll be there to do it. So if they're welcoming me into that, I will for sure do it.
Yeah, and to me, this is, if we would think back 4 or 5 years ago, this would be a game that we would call Toilet Bowl.
Yeah.
And now it's Game 1. It's the premier game of the season. Yeah. And, there's not too many rivalries in this league anymore, but I got to say, this is probably the best rivalry we have. I'd call it even our Subway Series. We've got players switching teams. We got players breaking the unwritten rules. You got to wonder, is Jeremy Warrell going to get thrown at in the first game? How are the Astros going to treat him? Are they going to shake his hand? Are they going to make fun of him? I don't know. We're going to find out, but I'm excited. Gus, what do you think?
Yeah, it's definitely an important game, and it's going to set the tone for both the Astros and the Expos for the rest of the season. And yeah, it is the most important game, and so they need to treat it like that.
That's so underrated, I guess you say that, because it's so true. Because both these teams, it could catapult them into a playoff team just from this game one. Like, it sets the tone for them. And having not just 1 week to think about it like last year, but 2 weeks to think about a win or a loss this time around.
Yeah. Yeah, so it is definitely on everybody's mind tonight, everybody's mind tomorrow. Obviously, this will premiere later in the week, closer to the season, as we're recording this the night before. But some more questions real quick about that. I wanted to know, from your guys' perspective, what do the Astros need to do to win? And then what do the Expos also on the other hat?
We have you as some inside intel.
Yeah.
Do you want to share with the listeners?
It'll be after the game, so it's probably fine.
This is coming after the game?
This will come out after.
So tell us, what's your plan for the game?
Like from a lineup standpoint?
Lineup, who's pitching?
Okay.
Do you have a short leash with whoever's your starter?
Well, so we're a little hamstrung this year. David won't be in attendance. Obviously, he lives in Wichita, so he won't be able to make the trip up for game one, so he won't be available. And then we do have Jimmy Stout. He's on a little bit of the 10-day DL right now with a knee injury. So we're kind of down to brass tacks. Cam will be leading us off in pitching, followed up by Keaton Adams playing extra hitter as his usual role. We're going to have Cole Layton hitting third and playing left field, and then yours truly will be out in right field and hitting fourth.
Which Brian 2 for 2 with 5 RBIs, 2 home runs, and his only 2 at bats last year to beat the Rockies in a super important game to win the division. So I mean, it's going to be exciting to see you out there, and I'm glad you're going to be out there, Brian, because I think you deserve that kind of like, the spotlight almost a little bit on you.
Oh, so I'd rather the spotlight be on the rest of the guys, but I am hoping for some of that magic from last season to continue. So we'll see. I'm confident in the lineup. I'm confident we can win, even with being shorthanded. I really like my team this year. So that's the plan.
So back to your question. I think the Astros to win this year, I'm going to kind of put some pressure on you, Brian, because I think it comes down to your ABs. And I think if your ABs are great ABs and you can put some hits together, string some home runs, some RBIs, I think your team's got a really good shot.
Yeah, and I think this podcast will really take off if Gus kind of raises his voice a little bit.
I agree. Gus, you're whispering to the ants, and you need to whisper to the clouds. I think that Gus is great, and my other thought is that
it's live, folks.
I think that the Expos' success, or the key to the Expos, is Jimmy Nelson. If Jimmy Nelson comes out and allows no more than 3 or 4 runs, I think the Expos are in a really good spot to win the game. They're a team that, as we all know, when they win, they never really blow anybody out. It's usually they scrape by, they get a couple wins. I think if the Astros play really good defense, can put up 5, 6, 7, 8 runs, they're probably going to win the ball game. If the Expos, keep the Astros down to 3 or 4 runs, I think the Expos are going to win the ball game. Astros had the upper hand in defense and offense, but that pitching matchup with Jimmy Nelson, if he can come to Cy Wiffle form, that's going to be tough to beat. So we're just going to have to see how it plays out.
Jimmy has the upper hand for sure on the mound, and you got to believe Cam and Cole are going to come to fruition. What they are capable of this year, especially with the spotlight on them as well. They're going to want to perform. But Jeremy Warrell is a huge X factor in this game. He really is, because he can change the game on both sides of the ball. If Jimmy is in trouble, he can come in and kind of be in relief if needed. I don't think Jimmy's going to come out of this game. But Jeremy also, in game 1 last year for the Brewers, hit a home run. So, against Jimmy. So I think that he can really change the game as well offensively.
And one note about Jimmy Warrell, or Jeremy Warrell, he's been on my summer league team the last 2 years, and something I've noticed about Jeremy, when he gets consistent at bats, continuous, game after game after game, he seems to get better as the season goes on. So with this being game 1, we'll have to see. But I do see him being an X factor for the Expos later into their season for sure.
Someone who comes in clutch. Am I talking loud enough?
Yeah.
What?
Someone who always comes in clutch for the Expos, who I think will be a great person to watch for Game 1 is the Germworm.
Absolutely, yeah.
And if he has a great game and has his clutch hits that he's known to have, they're going to succeed and do well.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, I would agree with all those. So, final predictions.
Oh.
Put you on the spot.
Well, yeah. Your prediction you already gave me.
I know. I apologize, but I believe I said
5-3.
Expos 5-3. I think Jimmy Nelson, that I think that his knuckleball works better when hitters are a little antsy. And I think with this being a fully produced Game 1 atmosphere, I think that he's going to pitch a very good game. I could be dead wrong, which I usually am, but I've got Expos 5-3.
I think, Brian, it is going to be after regulation 6-6, and we're going to a home run derby. Nobody's scoring in the 6th. We're going to a home run derby for the first time in Game 1.
Who's in the home run derby for the Expos? I think
Astros win in the home run derby.
I think Jeremy Warrell versus Cam Smith
And Cam
in the
wins.
home run derby. That's great.
No, you already predicted 5-3.
I know.
I predicted this awesome
I like your
prediction.
prediction.
That would be fun.
It would be real fun.
I would be sweating bullets
It'd be
the entire
real
time.
fun.
I think we're going to be surprised, and I think the pitchers are going to have trouble with they're going to be the first game with the all radar gun out,
Good point.
and I think they're going to struggle finding the right speed, and it's going to be a slugfest. I think we're going to a 12-13 game.
Wow.
Astros take it.
Wow.
13-12 Astros.
Walk off by Bryan Benware.
Are you guys
No walk off. They're just winning. They're winning 13-8
you
going
guys
into the
trying to
last
get
inning.
Brian to pay your tab tonight, or I don't know what's going on here.
Well, I would be happy with those two outcomes, not so much yours, but it is definitely a highly anticipated game. Stay tuned for that. Keep an eye out right before we kick off season 20. It will be on our YouTube for
May
everyone to
26th.
view, May 26th. So let's go into the next probably highly anticipated game, the Alumni Game. And I know we just did the draft and figured out the teams, but I kind of want to dive into this with you guys knowing a lot of these players. Someone like myself, I've only gotten to meet a few of them. So, excuse me. So, we've got Team Oldenburg versus Team Walters. Has anything in the past 19 years ever had this much hype from an exhibition standpoint? Something that isn't actually part of the competition of the season.
I think something that comes maybe close would be the first year we did the skills competition.
But that didn't have any hype. I was going to say that, but that didn't have any hype surrounding it. We had no idea what that was going to be.
True. That's
you know
true.
what I mean? Post skills competition, I don't think anything's going to touch it. Even this alumni game. That first year of the skills competition.
Even playoffs or champion, that was the best time we've ever had.
I agree.
I think something that could compare to excitement level but not surpass was the Brewers. I think they were the first team to do their spring training videos.
What do we call those?
Oh, no, that was us. We were the first year.
No, Brewers did it.
Brewers
Then you
Did
did
they?
it.
Oh, we were
What was
season
that called?
It was called Hard Knocks.
I think Hard Knocks.
Knocks.
I think Hard Knocks for the Skibbe League was pretty cool.
The Brewers did a good job.
You know, that kind of lost its thunder after a little while, but I think
we kind of killed that year. So.
I think this has a lot of hype because you have so many players playing in it that haven't played in so long, and they are hyped to play in it.
Yeah.
Like it's their chance to come back and play once again. So I don't know if their families are coming. I don't know what the circumstances are, but I think, this has probably got the best opportunity to have the hypest exhibition.
And I think everybody that's there, even the guys that don't really know all of these fellas that are coming back, I think they can still just sit back and take in kind of another camaraderie before the competition gets going. This is going to be Sunday night, so playoffs are going to be the next day. It's going to be looming on people's minds, but it's just a way to relax and kind of take in a game that nobody has any stake in, even like an all-star game. And the all-star game will be after the alumni game, but that game we all know now is just for fun anyway.
Yeah.
So this will be a really fun way to get people back that we've seen, and I'm so excited to see these guys
I think
back.
it'll bring a lot of laughs, for sure.
Yeah.
And just a good time overall.
And we might have our first major injury as well.
I think the chirping will be at an all-time high, too, with the history between all these players and the trash talk and growing up with each other. And
Rob will
getting an
yell, Andy's going
opportunity.
to cry, probably.
Yeah,
because Rob
will get under his skin a little bit. Well, so that kind of leads me to my next question. Who are you guys most excited to see back at the Blur of all the players that are going to be participating?
Rob Walters.
Yeah,
I think he values creating a show more than winning.
Yeah,
and I like a show.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see Rob Walters see if he can win a game for once.
Yeah, he's the only reason that Astros Wiffleball was watchable for a while. So
yeah.
Fact of the matter is, Rob is a great character.
Yeah.
Yes.
Gus, I'll go last because I got plenty.
How many of these players coming back have championships?
Wow, that's a great question.
Franchise era.
No, it's overall 20.
I think Chris
20
Whitehead
years. Chris
could
Whitehead
be the only
had
one.
Well, he played with a group of 3.
He played with Scott and Brett.
Scott Poley and Brett.
Yep.
And
He won Rookie of the
did
Year.
Jeff Bertram ever win?
Jeff Bertram has not won.
Really?
I think it was simply Chris Whitehead.
I hope, because Jeff Bertram is the questionable one, right?
He's questionable.
I hope he comes. I just remember he was the most intimidating person to face when you were pitching because he just would absolutely mash the ball.
Yeah, it was crazy.
And he's the only one I've ever seen successfully hit it over the house in right field. So
and even
it'd be fun.
Yeah,
It'd be fun to see him.
I'm very excited to see all of them. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. There's so many that stick out in my mind. I mean, obviously Andrew Light coming back-to-back years. He played last year on the Brewers, pinch runner mainly, got some at-bats. All of these guys, some of them are my best friends, played high school sports, played middle school sports with them. I'm really excited to see Ken Shippey back and Nick Meyer back, both of which have not played since 2004 in the SWBL. And then Corey Griffin is always in for a lot of laughs at the Blur.
I didn't know we were naming every player. I thought you just asked for one player.
No, there are more players than I've named.
He was excited for everybody.
I'm just excited.
Yeah. Well, so now let's just kind of wrap this up. But who wins? Team Walters or Team Oldenburg?
I made a promise to my mailman that I would always pick teams that swing with 2 hands over teams that swing with 1 hand.
Okay.
So I'm going with Oldenburg.
Oldenburg's team.
Yes.
All right.
I think Walters has the better team on paper, but Oldenburg has Bertram. And if Bertram shows up, Oldenburg's going to win.
Okay.
If not, Walters wins.
Okay.
I think it's going to be a tie game. And
We're not going to extras.
0-0.
We're not going home run derby.
No, they're going to extras.
0-0.
Tie game, going to home run derby.
I don't think
no
we're doing
one can
extras.
hit
We'll just
home
do
run.
straight home run derby. Between Andy and Rob, too. It's got to be those two.
Yeah.
Can't
It'll
do
be
anything
a
else.
1-1 tie.
Oh, God.
All right. Well, let's jump into a little bit of some of this tenured player stuff, but we're going to talk about the Hall of Fame, and we're going to announce the Hall of Fame nominees right here on the podcast. And then we're going to talk about the case for each player to actually be inducted into the Hall of Fame. So we'll go one at a time, and then I'll ask one of you to make a case for each of them, okay? So Jeff Bertram, we just mentioned him. He is on the ballot again this year. So, Sam, make a case for him to make the Hall of Fame.
Jeff Bertram obviously started in 2003. He was one of the original members. He has made it to the finals in, I think, 3 years early on in the SWBL. He was the only person to take over MVP from Brett Spencer in those years that Brett was so dominant. And Jeff, like Gus said, is just a game changer. And he definitely has a story to tell for the SWBL, and you can't tell the story of SWBL without Jeff Bertram being included in the early years. It's going to be tough for him to get in, I'm not going to lie. It's going to be tough because so many younger fans of the game that now play in the league, or like yourself, you never got to see him. So
Well, actually, just to
that's
correct
true.
you, I did play with
right.
Jeff Bertram.
2013, yes. Your rookie year, he won a bet. But that also goes to show us how dominant he was, because in 2013, when he played 1 year in the franchise era, he won a batting title.
Yeah.
So he still came back after all those years and still was that dominant, batting in the 800s. Before we had all the crazy rules we have now that lowered our batting averages.
Yeah.
But Jeff Bertram, I think, has a story to tell. Do I think he'll get in this year? No. He's the longest tenure person on the ballot, but that's my story.
All right, and next up, Jackson Crossley. So, Gus, make a case for Jackson to get into the Hall of Fame.
When you guys think about Jackson Crossley, the first thing that probably comes to your brain is
hair,
beer.
Should have got more at bats.
Beer, most feared pitcher. Most feared pitcher. And this is why, because he's the craftiest. He's always got something new up his sleeve. And I feel like he's the new age of the crafty, hard-to-hit pitchers. I think Brett and Sam were like the old age. Now it's become a Jackson. So he has 2 championships. He has 2 Cy Wiffles, all within the past couple years. He definitely deserves the nod, if so.
All right. Next up, Edlo Donnan on the ballot again this year.
Hello.
And Spencer, why don't you make a case for your Twins teammate there to make the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, I mean, Edlo has been one of the longest tenured Gus friends to play in the Skibbe Wiffleball League.
Played in season 1.
There's kind of 2 levels of friends that are in the league, and Edlo has played a very long time in the league. He has been at the top of leaderboards and seasons for home runs, for RBIs, dating back to the days of the Rays and even before then. Edlo has contributed in many other ways through doing a lot of media things, taking photography throughout the weekend, and providing the crowd with excellent commentary of pretty much anything that's going on. Edlo is a 3-time, that I know of, maybe more, Wiffleball League champion in the Skibbe Wiffleball League. And he is a great teammate. So Edlo Donnan would make an excellent Hall of Fame member. I don't think he necessarily gets the respect from his peers in the league. They think he's a joke.
He will tell you he's most deserving.
Which is unfair. And also the fact that he votes himself first in every power ranking of players. Many people know that he does that. So I think they also will hold that against him. So I don't think he will get in this year, possibly in the future, but he is a deserving candidate.
Yeah. Well, and like you said about Walters earlier, if you enjoy a show, Edlo's the guy you watch. So,
yeah.
All right. Next up, another oldie but a goodie, Andrew Light. So, Sam, give us a case for Andrew.
Andrew was part of the Hall of Fame nomination process. Is I, as commissioner, can nominate anybody that I think has put a stamp on the league, obviously telling the story of the league. And Andrew Light's one of those guys. He is the last remaining founding father on that fateful day that is not in the Hall of Fame. Do I think he'll get in? Not for a while. But having him on the ballot, I think, is important because just like Kevin got in, Kevin winning that championship really did help, not going to lie. But I think Andrew Light almost did more work for the league than Kevin did in that pre-franchise era. He was more around when it came to field building. He was more around for stats. He was one of those guys that you trusted. So he's, from a SWBL history perspective, the reason he's on now and wasn't on before is because this past year made him 7th year eligible.
I see.
So he always had 6 years for the longest time. Finally actually played in some actual games with the Brewers last year. So he is now the 7th year eligibility. So I finally said, as commissioner, I'm going to put him in. He's only won 1 Gold Glove. It was in 2004.
But he's won a Gold Glove.
Yes. And he also co-won that with me.
Okay.
So we won it as a team that year. So Andrew Light, that's my case, just because founding father added in. We got 3 of them in there. And I think we're kind of shifting, right? The Hall of Fame is not so much always has to be a player. It can also be somebody who contributes something to the league, whether it was past or present.
Yeah. Well, and he started off the, I don't want to call it the Kennedys, but something like it, the Bushes, I don't know, of the SWBL, right? He's got his 2 brothers, the family kind of aspect of having his 2 younger brothers play in the league as well, and one of them being in the Hall of Fame already, in Peter. So, all right, next up, we are going to go to Kevin Poley. So, Spencer, give us a case for Kevin Poley.
I think you could make the argument that besides Sam Skibbe, Kevin Poley has done more for the Skibbe Wiffleball League than any other person. Maybe you could put Kevin Skibbe up in that category as well, Kevin and Kay. But as far as a player, he he has done more for this league than anyone could ever ask for and imagine. Countless hours and time spent, design, creative, he's always been there. Also as a player, he had some years where he was off at Clemson and didn't play, but post-college and pre-college, he was a really solid player. I think Kevin would be someone that goes in as a contributor more than a player. But the fact that he has played in the league for so many years and for all of the things he has done, unpaid, just out of the love for the league, he would be a very deserving candidate. And I think he might have the best chance out of all these people to get in for that sheer fact. If we're moving towards that direction of contributors, I think Kevin probably has the best chance of everyone listed.
And last but not least, Brian Kenney.
When you think about Brian,
yeah,
what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
Him jumping over walls,
belly buttons,
big hands,
Rocky Mountains,
home runs,
big feet.
You know what that means.
Brian,
big socks.
Big socks. That's right, Brian.
Brian has a lot of wiffle ball heart. Like, he loves wiffle ball, and people would say Blake's the captain of the Rockies, but really everybody knows it's Brian.
Blake turns in the lineup card.
He doesn't.
No, he doesn't. Brian still does.
No, that's what I meant. Sorry,
Brian does.
Yeah, Brian does.
Yeah.
Brian is just like Chris Metter in the fact that he can change a game at any instant to benefit his team with a catch. And he has 3 platinum hands within the past 5 years. He has 2 championships to his name, and which is more than most people in the league can say. That most people in the league don't even have 1. So
Right.
So Brian's a game changer, loves wiffle ball. He has a heart for his team and wants his team to succeed. So he's just a great advocate for SWBL and wiffle ball in general.
Absolutely. Well, all these guys have a reason that they deserve to be in the Hall of Fame, but that is up to the voters. And we'll see how the voters play it out this year. If anybody gets in, if one guy gets in, if multiple people get in. So we'll just have to wait and see. But congratulations to all the nominees for being on the ballot this year. Thank you for everything you do and you've done for the SWBL, and for the current players still in the league. Good luck this year, except for against the Astros. So.
Good one.
Let's
Brian.
joke. Yeah, didn't see that coming, did you? So let's jump into the big topic, right? Let's talk about the competition. Let's talk about some of the guys we're looking at for awards. And, let's lead off with that. So we're going to kind of run down some of this as we go. But Rookie of the Year, right now the top 3 names are Adam North with the Rockies, Evan Kuo with the Athletics, and Jack Light with the Expos. I think that makes the most sense. You do also have Jason, who I think could be a dark horse candidate, and that's actually what I'm going to ask you guys to do. And it's hard to say pick a dark horse candidate for Rookie of the Year when you only have 4 rookies. So Jason kind of becomes that. But
what team is Jason playing on?
Jason's also on the Rockies. So we've got 2 rookies on the Rockies with this new look kind of team. It's not completely different, but Breeda's retired now, so you still have Grant, Brian, and Blake kind of leading that team, but you've got 2 rookies with a lot of wiffle ball experience coming to play. It's really going to be a matter of who gets more playing time and who uses that playing time to the best of the advantage. You got Jack Light, so another Light player in the league again, the 4th one now on the Expos. We'll see how much playing time he gets as well. And then Evan Kuo, I think, probably has the strongest case to be made from a playing time standpoint. I think he's going to be their number 2 pitcher. I think Adam's going to be their number 2 on the Rockies as well, but I think before Josh Rogers and his potential injury that he's dealing with,
that's true.
Evan Kuo is going to be looked to step up on the mound, and the the Athletics could be made or broken by how he performs out there. So
do we know anything? Is Evan Kuo going to be batting for them, or is he just strictly a pitcher?
I would assume he's going to bat. I mean, he's a college baseball player, so I assume they're going to give him some opportunity. Now, you've got your 3 main guys, or
Paul,
3.
Steve, Mike, Alex.
Yeah, Alex
and Vorbeck.
And Josh
when Vorbeck's there,
at
and
least.
they've got a lot.
And Josh.
Contractually.
has 5 games, you said?
10 at-bats.
Even
10
with
at-bats.
the injury.
Even with the injury.
Okay.
That's a lot of.
So maybe my point was wrong because that's a big roster.
Let me cut to the chase. This
It's gonna
Rookie
be
of the Year
rocky.
award, no, it's going to Evan. I'll tell you why. College pitcher. I've seen him throw wiffball. He can throw strikes. He's going to be their number 2 pitcher. He's going to get a lot of innings. Jason and Adam, I think are going to split time. And I think that, I think Evan has the most to gain. I think he's going to be on a team where they're really going to depend on him. I think they've only got 2 pitchers as it is. Jason and Adam are probably going to both split time pitching, both split time hitting. And, I play with Jason on a fast pitch football team. He's a really good player. But I'm going to put my stock with the college baseball player, and the award is going to go to Evan.
I don't know. It's got to be a Rocky.
Yep, Rocky. Either one.
No, it doesn't matter which one.
I mean, they got a 50% chance to win, right?
Pick one.
Well, and can I throw in a commissioner's caveat here? Because we decided as a front office for this award, we knew that Rookie of the Year was going to get thinner before it gets larger again, when a new wave of young people come in. But we knew that this was going to get pretty thin. And with only 4 rookies this year, we said if nobody is truly deserving, they would not get it. We would not give it out. So it's got, like Chris Vorbeck, definitely
very
deserving,
deserving.
right?
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
every year, there's always somebody that shines. Do I think somebody's going to shine this year? Yes. I think we're going to have plenty of people that are going to shine and earn that award. But in the future, for all the rookies, it could be Spencer.
Gun to your head. Who is it?
Adam North.
Rockies.
Which player? Jason or Adam?
I don't know. Jason.
Okay.
All right.
We'll see. So who's the 4th player we didn't pick?
Jack Light.
Sorry, Jack.
Your time will come, Jack.
Not this year.
If you get the at-bats
Well, it
to
won't ever
be
come for
eligible
Rookie of the Year.
Well, he has to
Not
get the
this year.
at-bats eligible, too.
Okay,
You got to be 3
okay.
games eligible.
Hey, Jack might
Light it up. Is that what you're going to say?
Oh!
He might play his first game and hit 2 bombs, and then they bat him more.
And
the
if
rest
he
of the
plays
season.
3 games, then he gets eligibility and he could win.
He might do well,
And I
hope that.
I could get lost and not show up to Wiffleball weekend. Anything's possible, say Gus. Okay?
Blake does.
Where are you gonna go?
Realistic. The casino.
What
All
do you-
right.
Black or red? Black or red?
Green.
Oh, okay. So let's jump into Manager of the Year. The 3 names kind of leading the charge there are Bryan Benware of the Astros.
That's you.
That's me.
last year.
Did you
John
make this list?
No.
Sam did. John Light of the Orioles and John Callaway of the White Sox.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So-
It's very interesting.
Yeah.
It
So
can be anybody.
It
I know.
can be anybody.
The leading candidates, though, that's weird how that happened.
you know
so-
what I love? I love listening to the last podcast, and everybody thinks the Orioles are old, but they're not old. They're like 2 years older than us.
Yeah,
That's
we're
funny.
old.
Well, we're for it. But
Well,
But I was going to
Peter
say,
is
John
too.
Light put together a great squad, and people think they're old, but they're not old.
Is John
Yeah.
playing? That's my question.
it's hard to say.
sometimes.
If John's playing, then it's going to be hard for him to win Manager of the Year. Because
Why?
the more he plays, the more they will lose.
Okay. So not necessarily a player-coach aspect, more of the outcome with him.
Every
in the
time
lineup.
John bats, it's more likely an out's made than a hit's made.
Okay.
John Light was a huge reason why Game 1 went to the Expos over the Brewers.
Okay.
Catalyst for that home run.
So, Manager of the Year, it's got to go to a team that either surprises the hell out of everyone. They don't have to win, but, we expect them to be very bad, and they do well. So maybe the Marlins. Another bad
Is
team.
this your dark horse candidate?
Or it'll go to the team that, maybe a team goes 9-1 or 10-0 and they just run the table.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but I also think that there's an aspect of decision making that goes on throughout the season that could play a part in that. I mean, I feel like that's why I won last year was certain decisions that were made. Granted, we had our best season ever, so that also plays a factor into exceeding expectations, like you said.
exceeding expectations.
But, the A's, I don't think anybody's writing the A's off that they're completely out of the playoff picture. But if they come through, I mean, if Alex manages that huge roster and makes great decisions, he could go for it. I mean, that would be my dark horse candidate.
That's a good one.
Pick aside from Alex, pick some dark horse candidates other than the people that I just named.
I got to go with my guy Chris. I think he does a really good job. It gets overlooked because I'm not trying to boast or brag, but we win more than we lose, and a lot of times it gets overlooked the decisions he makes in season, in game, that make a change. Like in the championship game last year, he made a decision to pull Will. Not that saying that no one else would have done that, but that's, he was up in the Cy Wiffle rank. He's a great pitcher, and he pulled him in the middle of the game, and we ended up winning. That's a huge decision to make.
Right.
So Chris is a great manager. If I'm not going to pick Chris, probably going to pick Blake.
Okay.
Brian. So Chris is really good at making decisions, like sausage McGriddle or sausage McMuffin. What does Chris pick?
McMuffin.
With the egg folded or the egg circle?
Blake.
Sam, pick a dark horse candidate.
I like Eli on this one. I think that...
What do they have to do? How many wins do they need for him to win? 2?
I think they got to contend for a playoff spot.
So they need...
I think they have to make the playoffs to be in
Okay, pick somebody else then. Ain't happening.
We've already said all the names. Scott's the last one.
And I wouldn't pick Scott because you only have 4 players and you signed Gus.
So that's what...
There's no decisions to make. You and Scott pitch. Nobody else can pitch.
Batting lineup.
So you have the same lineup. You have the same... There's nothing to do.
Do you think...
What about Kevin Wheatucker? I mean, he's a previous manager of the year.
They got to make the playoffs, and that ain't happening either. So.
Okay.
I think Alex Heck's the biggest dark horse.
It's Alex Heck, John Callaway, or who's your else captain?
John Light.
Or John.
Okay.
Or Chris.
I think Alex is a good one.
I guess I won't show up then.
That's my vote.
You can't win 2 years in a row.
Why can't I?
It's just not going to happen.
All right, tell the Twins that.
I think
Same
Brian,
thing as Team of the Year. Like, you never win Team of the Year 2 times.
I think if Brian makes playoffs again, losing John Callaway and making the decisions, I think he'll
That's
be
a good point.
dark horse as well.
I was not making a comment towards you.
Yeah.
It's just an award that usually isn't won back-to-back years.
That's
Brian,
true.
you have to make a good in-season trade to be considered.
Or that would be the best.
You
if
think
we
Scott
had a
make you
real
available?
in-season trade.
If you go up and beat up Jeremy Warrell in Game 1, I'll vote for you.
All right. Platinum Hands. So obviously you've got Chris Metter, Brian Kenney, and Ty Butler. The typical 3 here about Platinum Hands. There's not much to argue about this. They're probably the front runners, but pick a dark horse candidate, somebody you think might kind of come out of nowhere and at least get into the conversation, and if not, challenge for maybe a fresh look at Platinum Hands.
I don't think that happens this year. I think it's Chris. If I gun to my head, I'll pick John Callaway.
Okay.
John Callaway won't be playing left.
Yeah,
field.
John Callaway won't be playing
I still
hardly
like
at all.
John.
Which I do think John is a better fielder than Ty.
Okay.
I think I've just been burned by Ty too many times.
Here we go. The trash talk begins.
I've been burned.
They separate.
I've been burned in the playoffs the one year where he made the error and we lost because of that.
They're no longer teammates, and the truth comes out.
Hold on, I'm glad you brought that up. Can I say something?
Sure.
Maybe you don't win championships because you blame your teammates.
That's why I'm not a captain anymore.
Yeah.
So
You're a loser.
Yeah.
I am a loser.
I do think a dark horse candidate for this award is actually you, Gus. I think that one year, I will admit, for Ty, there was one year on the Royals that he should have won Platinum Hands, and we overlooked that as front office, and I've admitted this to him before, but he played all 3 positions that year and he made like 1 error in left field, but like Chris, who won that year, also made an error, and Chris should have won in left field, but Ty should have won the overall Platinum Hands because he played all 3 positions and did very well and led in some right field stuff, some pitching stuff as well, because that's when he was pitching as well. So I think that Ty is a good one to win this award this year, maybe giving some more, but I'm actually going to go with Gus. Hasn't got his due because Ty's always been in left field.
I have a question.
So Gus getting those pitching reps.
It's going to be Scott and I just rotating.
Left field pitching is going to give you those
well,
putouts, get you those assists.
I know in years, correct me if I'm wrong, in years past, the tiebreaker has always gone to the left fielder.
If they're a tiebreaker, what do you mean by tiebreaker?
Like if there's a pitcher and
it usually goes
left fielders
usually goes to the more assists.
No, I know, but there's a pitcher that plays pitcher and right field, and then there's a left fielder always plays left field.
But Ty had assists and putouts.
I'm not talking about Ty. I'm talking about most years, if there's a close case,
It defers to
we give
left
it to the
field,
left
Yes.
fielder.
You will not go for the pitcher even though they have 30-plus putouts because obviously
they're just
everything's
catching
going
a
to
ball.
them.
Yes.
Right. I think left fielder, Ty's a great pick. Dark horse for sure.
Yep. All right.
He's not a dark horse. He's a top 3 candidate.
He's number 3.
Yeah,
Dark
but-
horse in
you're a
his
loser.
mind because Chris Metter is always number 1.
Yeah, I think.
Well, in
Chris or
BK,
Bryan.
it's usually.
It's
I
gonna
mean,
be
it's
Chris
been
or
that way
Bryan.
forever. Chris or Bryan. So
It's Chris's to lose, I think, still after last year.
and I think Brian's going to get a lot of opportunities this year more than Chris because of their pitching. The pitching's worse than the Twins.
Yeah, I think opposite.
Our team's never been great at pitching.
You think the Rockies' pitching's better than the Twins' pitching?
I think it's going to be interesting this year. I didn't say better. I just said interesting.
Interesting.
all right, way to straddle that fence there. So, all right, let's jump to Cy Wiffle since we're talking about pitching. And obviously leading the charge is Jackson Crossley, last year's winner. Gus Skibbe
Scrub.
on board there. And then
Loser.
Jimmy Nelson from the Expos. So aside from those 3 names, give me a name that could compete for Cy Wiffle. And I think I know exactly where you're going. It's where I would go to.
I think
Other
none of those 3 will finish in the top 3. That's my prediction. I think Sam Skibbe is going to win this award. We have a huge rule change that no one is talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a radar gun out on every pitch, and that is going to be a huge deal. People that are known for throwing hard, but you really don't know if they throw hard, that's going to be a huge deal. There's pitchers in this league that probably throw closer to 58, 59 that succeed.
Yep.
And Sam is always consistently right
53,
around
baby.
50, 51, 52.
And it looks like it's coming in hard, too.
It
But for
looks like it's
some
coming
reason,
harder than it is. So there's going to be a huge learning curve. I think early in the season there's going to be a lot of hurt feelings and a lot of just like frustrated people.
I don't think there'll be hurt feelings. Just
I think there is.
frustration.
There's going to
Yeah.
be people that feel like they're. I'm just saying.
I think this is going to have a bit of a feeling like the year we put in the first pitch strike rule.
Yeah,
Just a little frustration of
Just frustration.
I
getting
think you're
used to
gonna
the
see
new
stats.
rule.
I think you're going to see stats, all of it from people that you expect to be better. It's going to be all over the place. And I think Sam, being the best consistent pitcher that we know is under 55, I think that gives him a huge upper hand. So my pick is Sam.
Sam Skibbe wins his 10th Cy Wiffle of the SWBL.
Oh.
10?
Those
Hold on.
early years don't count.
Hold on, I just changed my vote. Me, I'm going to win.
See, like, Brett. Has Brett tried out the radar gun? Does his Top Gun register fast?
He's got to slow that down a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which that's his main pitch. Like
just a
me,
little, or-
I have to figure out something new because my curve pitch registers too fast. Jackson's riser is going to register too fast.
Yeah.
Will Rath's slider's going to be too fast.
His only pitch is going to register fast. So it's going to be.
Paul's going to be way too fast.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Me and Sam might be the only 2 people under.
Yeah. I mean, you brought up a lot of good names and a lot of. So I would have said Will because of how close he's been in the past, and ideally he's a smart enough cat to figure out how to slow it down a touch, and get maybe finally take that step and win that award. And we've talked a lot about why people won't, but who is there anybody else that you think could step up aside from Sam?
I think Cam has to step up, and I know we say this every year with his hitting and his pitching. He's got to step up.
He's developing that knuckleball, too, to
And
sort of be like Chad and Jimmy. And
He puts
Scott.
in more work than anybody. And in Mo-Whiff now, there's a 55-mile-an-hour speed limit that he's
Getting
practicing getting experience.
So maybe Cam.
Possibly Cam. It's
How about David Olderman?
Yeah.
He's a good candidate. He's got a good.
Just from a speed standpoint, like we're talking about.
Yeah.
I haven't faced him in a while. I can't really remember. One person I'll say that I don't think they'll win Cy Wiffle, but I think they'll surprise a lot of people is Jeremy Warrell.
Yeah,
He's a good pitcher.
he is.
He's a
He
good pitcher.
doesn't
He
get the
throws
credit
fast,
he
too,
does.
I don't think so.
He can, but he doesn't. He can slow it down
yeah,
too.
He can. In
And
summer
with-
league, he's been a very good pitcher.
I also
mixing
think
it up.
with the immediate feedback for Jeremy specifically will actually help him.
Yeah.
To see, like he may throw a couple that are too fast, but he'll be able to. He has the talent and the pitching experience to be able to slow that down.
There was one person, if I may bring this person up, and Gus will attest to this too because we actually tested the speed gun with him. And Josh Rogers was an amazing pitcher.
He was.
Going into 55 mile an hour, and it stinks for the A's that
he was really hard to hit.
Yeah, and me and Gus struggled mightily, and it was our first time hitting in a long time. Don't get me wrong, but we'd really struggled against Josh, and it's too bad that he's hurt and not going to be able to pitch for the A's. And they'll be fine with Evan and Paul as long as Evan can make that transition. But if they would have had Josh, he could have been the ace, and he could have been a dark horse for this as well.
What about Trent or Fat J? What's his name? Fat J?
Fat Anthony. I don't know what it is. His rapper name is, but I think they could be dark.
Maybe.
I mean,
they're not going to get the wins though.
Yeah, that's the problem. They're not going to get the wins. They're not going to get the strikeouts. They're still developing pitches.
I've heard from Eli. They've been putting in work every single week.
They have been putting in work.
I just made that up, but I'm glad they are.
I think it's Trent that built a strike zone in his backyard.
That's cool.
Let's go.
Yeah.
That's cool.
They can only get better.
All right. MVP. So Spencer walked off to maybe
he didn't want to be a part of this conversation because
but he
times in the past 3 years.
But the number one preseason ranked person is none other than Gus Skibbe
again
for the MVP. And then Spencer Bogad coming in at number 2, and last year's winner Corey McCarthy off of his amazing year, coming in at number 3. So again, we don't have to argue over why those 3 might win it. It's pretty obvious. But give me a dark horse candidate for MVP.
I got mine, but I can wait. If you guys say it first, I'll pick somebody new.
I'm just thinking someone that gets lots of opportunities.
Okay, I'll start.
Okay.
PG.
Okay.
I think PG will get a lot of opportunities in a lineup, especially with Peter and Brett, who are trending towards not so much power numbers, but they're on-base guys. And as of now, it looks like PG, at least for the start of the season, is going to start in the 4-hole. So having 3 guys that can get on base in front of you are going to provide a lot of opportunities for some power numbers like him. And I think he's going to get some pitching as well in that 3-headed monster, I guess you could say, for our pitching lineup. So I'm going to go with my teammate PG on his comeback year.
Okay.
Speaking of teammates, I think I'm going to go with Scott Pulley. He's never batted not first before, and I will be batting first. And he's going to have a lot of opportunities for RBIs. If you didn't know this, Scott has had wrist and shoulder problems for like the past 6 or 7 years. And he, knock on wood, he's been hitting a little bit. He says that he has felt no pain.
Wow.
So for the first time in a long time, he's feeling really good. He's hitting in a new spot, a slightly new look team. I think he's going to do really well and succeed. So I'd say Scott.
MVP Spencer. You can't pick Spencer or Corey though.
No, I was going to say Scott. I think having Gus. I actually thought Gus was going to hit behind Scott, which was going to help Scott a lot because, personally speaking, whenever I would face the Yankees and I would always pitch around him. He would never get anything to hit because I was not afraid of anyone behind him, ever. And now, thinking that Gus would be behind him, I was thinking he would get better pitches to hit. But with Gus being on high average, that could also work that way too. I think there's really only, I hate to say it, but there's really only like 5 or 6 people I think that could probably win at the beginning of the year. I think Sam has a really good chance. I think PG's got a good chance. Corey and myself also have a good chance. Edlow, unfortunately, he just hits too low in the lineup. But all those guys, it's a huge deal. You got to hit first or second, really, to win the MVP. So I think any of those guys that I mentioned can win. Scott has a really good chance this year with Gus being in the lineup. So
I'm going to throw a really wild card name out just to discuss, but depending on where he hits in the lineup, because I don't know. But Jackson Crossley. I mean, Jackson has shown he can be a force at the plate over the last 2 years. And now he's going to be getting a full-time hitting role for the 2nd year in a row. And if he gets to hit in that leadoff hole or even that number 2 hole, which I highly doubt he's going to be in the number 2 hole.
It's here!
But, hey, food is here. But he's somebody that I'd like to keep an eye on. Plus, with the pitching prowess he has.
We got food.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think that I think John leading off makes a lot of sense, being a lefty. Power numbers usually pretty down for lefties because of that wall.
Right.
If Jackson's hitting number 2 in that lineup, I think you're probably right. He's got a really good chance. He'll have a lot of opportunity to drive in some runs.
I think they said their lineup. I think it was Ty leading off.
So that makes it then John.
And then John.
And then probably Jackson.
I think John said he wasn't batting second. Or I
No,
know
he
Derek
is.
was 4.
Actually, I
Derek
think
was
Jackson's
4.
hit. No, I think because what I remember from the captain's interview, it was going to go righty, lefty, lefty, righty.
Yes. Yeah. But
So I think Jackson's actually, based on what you're saying, going to be in the 4 hole,
Man,
which would actually eliminate this
I
conversation.
hate that lineup a lot.
So
like to play against.
I hate it for them. I think it's a terrible lineup. Just saying.
yeah,
John needs to lead off. Jackson needs to hit second. And then after that, they can do whatever they want. Ty should hit 4th, and Derek should hit 3rd. You get the lefty-righty, lefty-righty. I hate that lineup. If that's their lineup, they need to reconsider that. Just saying.
Lefty, righty, lefty, righty. You don't like it as an opponent,
It
or
should
don't
be-
like it as a manager?
If I was their manager, the lineup should be John Callaway, then Jackson, then Derek, then Ty.
Well, that's lefty, righty, lefty, righty.
I know. That's what I'm saying. They
but
should
what
do.
right
Oh,
now they have
absolutely.
it set as what we can kind of figure from the captain interview.
Yes.
Ty was leading off.
Ty was leading off, which means it's righty, lefty, lefty, righty.
I think they
Ty
should go back and forth.
Ty strikes out a lot. No offense, Ty.
He does.
Strike out a ton. Power numbers aren't what they used to be. Your average isn't what it used to be. Your value, your asset is getting on base any way you can and playing really good defense. You should not be leading off. John should lead off. He's their best hitter. Get him the most at-bats you can. He gets on base a lot. And Jackson's going to hit 15 to 18 home runs. It needs to be John Jackson. But
18? Corey hit 17 last year.
It was a down year for everyone.
It was.
It was.
Jackson's got 20 home
Pitching
run
was
potential. He has 20 home run potential.
That lineup's super interesting. I'm curious to see how it all meshes, and they could be the best team in the league if they're all on.
Yep.
So we'll see.
Want to fry, Gus?
I do not want to fry.
All right. 1356, come out and join us.
Oh, we're talking about MVP, right?
Yep.
Another dark horse candidate. Let's see.
You have to talk really loud.
Blake Spencer. Now's the time. More than ever.
Just got to hit over 500 though.
Now's the time where he has to turn it on. If the Rockies want to do well, he's got to do well on hitting. So
I'd agree. All right, let's talk about some matchups. So get a little bit away from individual performances, but let's talk about some teams. So what matchups are you guys looking for? What are some games that maybe they're games that you're playing in, but maybe it's also games that of other opponents that you are just really excited to see?
I'm really looking forward to Marlins Expos.
Yeah.
Expos.
Toilet Bowl Sunday or
Marlins
Monday.
have a lot of want to, and a lot of want to do good. The Expos, their key to their success is Jimmy Nelson. And I'd love to see hyped Jimmy pitching against a bunch of scared Marlins players. That'd be really fun.
Marlins beat him last year.
I know. It's the rematch.
the Marlins beat the Yankees last year.
Yep.
I'd also like to see A's Expos for the exact same reason.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to Game 1.
Game 1.
I'll kind of flip the script. I'm super excited for the two people at this table, Yankees Twins. I'm
Yep.
excited for that rematch from last year and to see Gus in the lineup for the Yankees. Twins keeping with the same crew. Obviously, you should, being the reigning champs. But I think that's going to be a really fun game. They're going to play once during the regular season. It's going to be a very hyped game. In fact, it is one of our game of the days that we will be live streaming with multiple camera angles this year on a couple games of the day this year. So I'm excited for the Yankees-Twins matchup as well.
If Chris manages that game like the other big games, he will probably throw Edlow and him in that game, and no one.
Yeah. I think just, and people have talked about this on other podcasts, but the Yankees and White Sox matchup is always going to be, we're in the same division. We see each other twice. It's all Yankees, Royals, and
That'll be fun.
One Brewer.
and one Brewer players. So it'll just be fun to play against them. And people call it a rivalry. It's not going to be a rivalry. It'll just be fun.
John Callaway wants that rivalry.
I know.
He wants it.
If
It's
we
not
hype it
gonna be
up
one.
enough, it will be from Scott because he admitted last year when John left to join the Astros, he tried to talk down that rivalry, but he really wanted to win against the Astros.
Well, of
and
course,
he did twice, actually.
I would love to win against the White Sox, but I'm not going to call it a rivalry.
What about the Twins?
Yeah, I hate you.
You're a loser.
All the Twins players are ex-Royals players.
Except Chris.
Except Chris.
Let's just kind of talk overall about the competitiveness that we're expecting from this year, and we can talk about individual teams. This is kind of more of an open conversation section for us to talk about, teams that could surprise us, teams that, maybe a little bit overrated. We all, I think, agree a lot of the hype or a lot of the conversation this offseason has been around what we expect to be the most competitive year in the league's history. So let's just kind of talk a little bit about that. We've had all of the captain interviews. We have the power rankings came out once those were finalized. A lot of discourse from some of the players on that, but it's to be expected. So, just some overall thoughts from you guys as front office members and leaders of the league and what you guys thinking about.
I think it's cool that there's only, in my opinion, 2 locks in playoff contention, and that is both of your teams, Yankees and Twins. In my opinion, it's 2 locks. But even with them being locks, the Yankees could still possibly be a 5-5, 6-4 team, having another down year, even with Gus. And it could turn into that bad luck Yankees squad again, and they could struggle, but I think it's locks. Everybody else, it depends on what all those lower tiered teams right now in the power rankings will do, right? The Athletics could be a 7-3 team or a 1-9 team. The Astros could be a 6-4 team or a 2-8 team. Like, there's so much difference between all of these different guys.
Twins, overrated. Yankees, overrated. Athletics, underrated. Expos, probably overrated. Marlins, underrated. Astros, they're probably right around rated where they should be. Rockies, way overrated.
Orioles,
what's everybody saying? 6-4? They're probably a little overrated just because we don't know, but they're probably going to finish right where we said.
So almost everybody in the bottom's underrated, and everybody on the top is overrated.
Expos are way overrated.
Except for the Expos.
I don't mean any disrespect, but you're losing Brett Spencer, probably your best player you want to keep, even over Jimmy, just because he does everything.
And both their fielders.
Yeah, I mean,
the past
the Expos, I know they're going to watch this. Maybe they won't. But I think they'll probably end up with the worst record this year. The Expos will. And the Marlins are going to be a lot better than we think. Same with the A's. I think everyone thinks the Twins are going to go like 9-1 or 8-2. That's not going to happen. We always throw games somehow. And the Yankees, no offense, Gus, but I think the Yankees might be about the same, or even, you got to pitch lights out to match what Jackson did, because that's going to be your X factor.
No, it's not much of a difference.
Yeah, I think hitting-wise, you're better than him, but pitching-wise, a little better than you, so it's kind of like... So I don't know. The answer to your question is, everyone's a little bit of everything.
Mm-hmm. And anybody can do anything. Yes. There's just so much movement this year. It's going to be fun to watch different teams compete against different teams, and players that have played on this team are now playing. It's just going to be...
Nobody knows.
And the results of this year are going to have such a huge effect on next year. You think of the Rockies. They're using 2 players this year that they don't know. Yep. If they have a tragic 3-7, 4-6 year, what do they do next year?
Yeah.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah, and you could say the same thing at the Orioles. The Orioles just go 2-8, just didn't work out. Do they all split up again?
Yeah. Same thing for you.
Twins.
You always talked about leaving.
Twins.
And if the Twins don't make the playoffs, you're for sure not going to be there.
I want what's best for the league. So if we get in a situation where, you guys know what I mean. You want to the competitiveness of all the teams to remain. The Twins have always been really good. And
that's why I let you and Edlo go.
If it means, making changes for the better in the league, then I'm always open to listening. That's what I'll say. We'll leave it at that for season 21.
All right. I think from my perspective, and I think you guys mentioned it, but I'm looking forward to Monday. I think, bravo on your part for the way you scheduled Monday out and having all of those division games, and with the competition we expect, I mean, Monday, every game is going to be must-see.
Yeah.
Even the toilet bowl, right?
Yeah.
Between the Marlins and the Expos. I mean, we're going to want to watch that just for fun, but who knows? I mean, we've talked about it before, but that year the Expos went on their run. That last game of the season was what propelled them into the playoffs, knocked the Astros out. They go on a run and win the championship. So who knows what could happen? I mean, Marlins could be in a similar situation to at least make the playoffs and knock somebody like the A's, the Astros, the Rockies out of the playoffs. And so I think that is just going to make Monday, which is usually in the past has been one of those days where a lot of times everybody kind of knows who's in.
You relax.
You're kind of relaxed.
You're ready for playoffs.
It's more for pride at that point than anything else. So it should be fun for Monday.
Some big games.
Yeah.
There's Orioles, Astros. There's White Sox, Yankees. A lot of cool division games that are going to play out.
Yeah.
So,
sorry, Sam, are you sharing, or is it okay for you to share the thing that you're making, or is that going to be a surprise?
The schedule?
Yeah.
No, you can share it. I mean, by the time they watch this, people can get excited for it. That's fine.
You want to share what you're doing?
You can if you want.
Well, I don't really know how to describe it.
I mean, for everybody that's out there, if you've seen like a high school schedule poster before, it's going to be like a jumbo size. So it's like a 60 by 40 huge poster. There's going to be some faces of each franchise that'll be featured from our media days that have gone along. And every single game is on there. The playoffs are on it, and it'll be enough where we can write in the score for each one. It's kind of like a cool memento. You know, last year we had the bracket from STL Cycle Saloon and the playoff, ticket punch, all that stuff. So we're kind of adding it in, and it's going to be available for everybody to see all weekend long. Super excited about it. Designed it myself, and we're going to put it out there. And
I think that's what the competition aspect. It's going to be so fun to
people
walking
crowding around it.
Crowding around. Like, oh, they need to do this to get to this spot. I mean, it's going to be fun to just look at the schedule as a group of people for the competition.
So many people ask, are we home or away? Well, now it's on the big poster right next to you.
Yeah.
So you can look at it yourself.
No one's asking the scores deck anymore.
Yeah. All right, well, put you on the spot. Who are the 5 teams that make the playoffs this year?
Twins.
Dark horse, or what we think for sure?
What you think for sure?
Okay.
Twins, Yankees, Orioles, White Sox, Athletics.
Okay. Pretty much going with the power rankings there.
Twins, Yankees, Athletics, Rockies, White Sox.
Oh, come on. What a terrible answer.
Orioles don't make it.
That'd be awesome.
Twins, Yankees, Orioles, Athletics, Astros.
Wow. All 3 from the same division?
Yeah.
Wow.
Is that possible?
Yeah, it is.
It is. It's just really
Just
hard.
cross the numbers.
Just did his head.
Wait, who'd you leave out there? That's
White Sox.
Oh,
And
Rockies.
And Expos and Marlins.
Rockies aren't making the playoffs.
All right, you heard it here first.
There's no way.
And you guys know who to be angry with on Monday.
I'm
So,
officiating Blake's wedding. Sorry, Blake. You're not making the playoffs.
all right, and then other than your own team, who wins the championship?
Twins. Back to back.
Twins back to back.
Athletics.
That would be
High praise
That would be
from
awesome.
Spencer for the A's.
That'd
be awesome.
Evan's going to be top 5 inside with him.
How much did he pay you before tonight?
I know Evan.
Okay.
I used to play baseball.
I would really like that.
If the A's can put it together, they can.
That'd be
They
awesome.
actually do. That would be the most shocking thing, other than the Expos winning, would be the A's winning.
And they can do it. That's the thing. Like, they can beat anybody at any moment. I like that answer.
All right.
Got to go with the Twins, though. I mean, they're proven.
Yep.
Same squad, 2 MVP candidates,
It's tough to beat.
best fielder in the league.
Tough lineup.
I mean,
Yeah.
Top to bottom. Tough lineup.
We've got the continuity.
Has there ever been a lineup that's had 3 former MVPs? Orioles?
Yep.
Orioles. Peter has won one, right?
He has one.
One MVP.
Orioles and Twins.
Yeah.
All right. Any final thoughts? Anything else you guys, from a competition standpoint, you guys want to talk about? Things should be
I'm most
said.
excited for the porta potties coming back.
Yeah.
That's a really big deal.
That's a good one.
I hope everyone has a great time.
Those are
You said competition standpoint.
Competition
We'll
to
talk
get
about
in the porta
season 20
potty.
later.
I hope everyone has a great time competing. And
It's just the big change of the radar gun.
yeah, the radar gun.
That it will change
I was getting to that.
the league.
I was transitioning from porta potty to radar gun.
I think radar
I'm
gun
so excited.
and player movement is the key to the season 20 competitively right now. It's going to be really interesting to see the White Sox and the Orioles, where they fit in this league and where it's going to be in 2023. Player movement's going to be huge, I think, in the next couple of years even. So I think it's going to be really exciting to see where this takes us.
Do you think radar gun, say it doesn't go well, and a lot of people don't like it, us included,
That's happening.
do we take it back next year?
No.
People
You
are gonna
think
be,
it stays?
People are
I
going
think
to
it
be
stays.
so mad, especially later in the day.
Because
there's going to be anger.
our league has changed, and we always said we were a hitting league, and people have, if the rule is 55 and the heat check, quote unquote, but if you're going over every time, then this is a wake-up call that you need to change what you're doing, and we can't keep ramping it up
And
every
people
year.
are afraid to call heat because we're all friends, and you don't want to be that guy that calls.
Yeah, the
the radar
camaraderie
gun.
doesn't, it
Yeah.
feeds more into the competition.
And it stresses you and me out because it's a lot of it comes
And
on
people
us.
come up to us and ask, like, are they throwing too fast?
Yeah.
Like, you should say something. It's like, well, that's your job. Like, we've added in rules. So this
It's
is,
nice to keep it off of
right now,
shoulders.
this is the easiest way to evenly make everything across the board.
So I was talking to Hall of Famer Brett Spencer today, and he was sharing with me that he wishes the league would turn back into a hitting league. And I think this is a step into that direction.
It is. And coming from a pitcher, like both of you,
Yeah.
who are notoriously a little bit faster,
Yeah.
self-admittedly,
Yeah.
I think it's good for the league that we can get back to that style of play. And if everybody across the board is the same way, then it's an even playing field for all.
I agree.
Do you think the first pitch strike rule, when we implemented that, was like the turning point to get away from
It was
as
an
much hitting?
attempt. It was an attempt to try and do that. And actually, there was talk of the first pitch strike rule going away
Really?
Because of
with
this.
the radar gun.
Yeah, I've heard that.
So
too.
that might be a step that we take if the radar gun is successful in a way, but a little too much, then we might take away the first
I actually
pitch
think first pitch strike rule did the opposite of what we wanted it to do. It lowered stats big time because
did.
people were so afraid of striking out that they were even willing to swing at a ball
the first
5
pitch,
feet
no matter
out of the
what.
zone
Yeah.
and give themselves a disadvantage just because they didn't want to strike out. So, the 55 mile per hour rule, we should see some pretty big numbers this year.
Big numbers.
Well, I like the
we may have a home
I like
run
the
record
feedback
broken.
Yours?
aspect of it. All right. Well, that's going to wrap up our kind of competition aspect of it.
Are we going into the unknown?
We are going into the
Into
unknown.
the
Oh boy! Now I'm going to have to rename this part.
What's your
I mean, have you heard that song? I'm
Yeah.
sure you
Of
have.
course he has.
Having a
Come
daughter.
on.
It's on repeat.
It is a great song.
It is.
Great song.
But if you watch that scene on the movie, you tear up a little bit. I mean, it's
It's pretty good.
It's a good one.
pretty good.
It's one of
Continue.
the ones that my daughter and I sing as part of her nighttime routine, and she
wow.
always does like the echo behind me and everything. Like gets way into it. Yeah.
That's cool.
All right. So the unknown. Let's just jump into it. I'm not going to explain what it is. If you don't know, go back and listen to the other podcasts.
If you don't know, you don't know.
You don't know.
All
Now
right.
you know.
What is your go-to karaoke song?
I Can Show You the World from Aladdin.
Nice.
I
Shake
sing
and
it
Tell
every time.
Feathers, Nelly, Diddy, Murphy Lee. I kill it.
Let It Burn by Usher.
Nice.
It's just called Burn, but all right.
But you let it burn.
What is one moment in SWBL history that you would like a do-over on?
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
One moment in SWBL history you want to do over on?
Uh-huh.
Easy.
Yeah.
Season 10 championship when John Callaway, Sam Beckler, and Scott Puller on the same team. John was running to second.
Yes, I would like that do-over as well.
And he was totally out. There was a play, but Scott got really upset, and
It was the last play of the game.
the last play of the game they would have lost. But it got reversed, and then they ended up winning and won the championship. So they would have lost that playoff game.
And we had Nick Langley playing right field.
Yeah. But yeah, that moment right there.
Okay.
I have the same moment, unbiased, but I was the loser in that game. But if it weren't for that, I don't know. I really don't know. I've had a pretty good run. I haven't really had too many things that have, like when we've lost, it's because of just,
Sucking.
yeah, sucking, not really like errors or
Yeah.
nothing comes to mind, but I would say that one as well.
I have another one.
Okay.
Sam Skibbe and I were on the same team in season 3, and 2-man squad. We went 9-1. We won that year. The only game we lost, I was not playing. Don Hogan was playing in my spot, and Sam lost that game. But we would have been the only perfect season if I was there for that game. So,
Are you saying you would have been better than Don Hogan?
yeah.
I think from a commissioner standpoint, mine is thinking about the league and where we never would have thought we would have been here 20 years later doing this and the franchise era and everything too. But I wish we would have known all of this and started with the same rules from the beginning, just to see the old records don't really mean anything anymore. The second era of records don't mean anything anymore. Even the third tier, you could say, of records don't mean anything before the pitcher's poison and going to that. So I wish we would have kept it more consistent. But that's the beauty of growth of the league and things like that too. So
I also have another one. I wish we would have season 1 named our league and made it public Major League Wiffle.
we would have got it before. And copyrighted it.
And copyrighted it, season 1.
That'd be
Because
good.
then we would be famous.
Yes.
Good answers. All right. If a vampire offered you immortality to become a vampire, would you do it?
No.
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 I don't want to live forever.
Wow.
No.
Man, I thought this was going to be a great question, and I got 3 no's.
Go back to the think tank, Brian.
All right. Moving on. What is one thing you would add or change to make the league better after this year?
Can I say something that's very unrealistic?
Yeah.
I would make the Monday a championship game. We would have lights on the field, and we would add 2 games to the season. We had 12-game season, championship game at night, Monday night, under the lights, 8 o'clock. That's what I would love to change. It'd be awesome.
Wow.
More football is better.
That's a lot.
That's too much.
I said, can it be unrealistic?
It's too unrealistic.
Permanent fence. Whether that's the bushes grow enough or woods. Not like a wood fence, not the woods, but wood fence.
How high would you make it? Like high enough to not jump over?
Right now it's 4 feet. I'd still probably make it 3 or 4.
Okay. Gus?
I've got another one.
Spencer? Go ahead.
I think it'd be really cool if
Redraft league.
we did a redraft.
Yes, I was going to say too. That would be sweet. If
But
people were down for it.
My fear is that one of the reasons why people keep coming back and saving this weekend is because they get to play with
Who they want.
their friend.
I agree.
Like the guys from the Rockies. Does BK play as long as he has if he's not playing with Grant and Blake?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't.
Nobody
But I
knows.
think those relationships are really strong. And I think that'd be really, really cool to see how it plays out. And Gus, what do you think?
I was saying talk louder.
But also, what do you
But
think?
also, what do you think? What would you add or change after this year?
Bigger pool.
I don't know. I love the league the way it is.
Okay.
It's fun. I enjoy the 4 days and coming back home with my family. Maybe have my kids be more well behaved for the weekend.
That's what you would change about the league?
Yes.
Something new this year, Brian, that we have added is we have walkie-talkies this year.
Ooh.
We're super pumped about.
That's actually a great idea.
Have one at the scorer's table, have one inside, have one with Kevin Poley, and have one with me at all times. So we're going to have 4 walkie-talkies traveling around.
Do you have the earpieces?
No, but they are really cool. We tried them out today during Dirt Day. It was awesome.
Okay, cool.
Do you say over when you're done talking?
Oh, yeah, you have to.
All right, last question. What would your superpower be and why?
Wiffleball superpower or just any superpower?
Any superpower. You become a superhero. What's your superpower?
I would say the same thing. I would say teleportation. I really just don't like to travel far distances, and you could save on...
Is it because you're late all the time, too?
Oh, I'm never late.
Okay. I think tonight you were late, but whatever.
Well, that was more Gus's fault. He wanted more apple crisp at home, and he was trying to get bites from mom and dad and his wife. So he kept mooching off of the apple crisp. So I will say just being able to travel for personal reasons. Leaving awkward situations.
If you're touching someone and you teleport, do they go with you?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
You have that power.
Then
Absolutely.
That's it. Yeah,
No. It's all about the
Invisibility would be
time.
great.
All about controlling time. Do whatever you want. Control time. Do whatever you want.
I could teleport into a bank vault while you're stealing it. And steal all the money before you get there.
Why did you guys
pause
automatically
time?
go to creating a crime?
Pause time and
Committing a
take
crime.
somebody's car. Drive wherever you want to.
And come
Bring it back.
No
Bring it
gas
back.
in the tank.
Yeah.
And then it's just
If
a
you
Ferris
were-
Bueller's thing where the
you roll back
the
the numbers.
odometer
Oh,
is higher now. And
I
they
think
don't know why.
invisibility would be great.
Okay.
If you really don't like someone,
Sit
you
in on
can
some
slap them a
meetings,
little bit.
Get some information. Actually, I take it back. Ability to read minds. You could become
And it get too noisy.
or tell the future.
How
I
many
take it
times
back
you
again.
can a woman want?
You can choose who
Tell
you
the
want to
future.
listen to.
Tell
Is
the
that what you're
future.
saying?
Tell a future. Is
Be
that
able
like
to
you have
tell
a television?
Be able
Oh.
to tell the
Hey,
future.
we don't talk about it right now. Let's move on.
So I could, gamble and win all my bets.
Okay.
So
rich.
get rich.
That's your superpower.
All right.
We're snowballing.
That is going to wrap up this edition of our season preview for season 20 of the Skibbe Wiffleball League.
Wow.
Real quick, I want to thank all of our sponsors for season 20 and all their partnerships, everything that they have done, as Sam points at Breckenridge Brewery.
That's right.
Also, as we said, we are here live at 1356 Public
Yes,
House.
thank you again.
So thank you for our amazing presenting sponsor for being with us this year. Also want to thank Ruben Brown, Kenney Nice Center, and Corner Pub and Grill, our division sponsors, Cardinal Blinds and Shutters. We already mentioned Breckenridge Brewery, Logix, High Road Craft Ice Cream, STL Cycle Saloon, Lion's Choice, Amp Up Action Park, Andy's Frozen Custard, and Daly's Smokehouse. As we said, season 20 is upon us, but we do have more podcasts coming throughout the year. Our goal is to have more content throughout the off season and not just focused on one weekend a year. So we will be having a champions podcast where we get the team who wins the championship on to discuss their luck, amazing run, however it plays out.
Alex Heck's going to love that one.
Kind of go through season 20 and their win. We're going to have an NWLA tournament podcast right before we send our national team off to compete for the SWBL. And we're also going to do a new podcast in which I need players' help over the weekend. We're going to do a podcast called Ask the Commish, where we get Sam Skibbe on and we can ask him whatever we want from a player's perspective, from a league perspective, whatever we want. So if you have questions that you want Sam Skibbe to answer on the spot, where I won't let him out of it,
Does he have to answer?
he has to answer.
What's your
Or
social
take a
security
shot.
number?
Or take a shot.
Or take a shot.
Social
That's a
security number.
new ad.
What?
What's your social security number?
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4,
5. But I need questions. So over the weekend, if you have a question for Sam for the podcast, get with me. I'll write them all down, and the top questions will be asked for the podcast. So that's going to wrap everything up. Any final thoughts, fellas, before we get out of here?
I got a lot of questions. How dare you, Brian?
How dare I what?
That's a movie. That's a show.
Oh, okay.
I hate to, be before Gus here, and really steal it all. But I want to thank everybody out there for sticking with us for these past 19 seasons, heading into season 20. Game 1 is tomorrow, and it is truly amazing that you have stuck by us all of this time. And I can't thank all of our sponsors enough. Can't thank you guys enough. Brian, thanks for doing all these podcasts this year. It's been great to listen to you on Spotify and YouTube. And all the players, we are so excited to present to you season 20. Thank you for buying into the SWBL all these years, and we hope that we have 20 more in the future.
This league would never happen unless it was for Sam Skibbe. So, thank
Facts.
him. Thank him for each
or
season.
Kevin Skibbe, really. I mean, honestly.
Well, yes.
Kay doesn't get enough praise.
The hierarchy is Sam Skibbe, our parents, and then
Kevin Pulley,
then the rest of the league, and then me.
We take stats,
Yeah.
That's good.
I know. During the weekend, I do something.
Yeah, you do a lot. So, all right. Well, we will see you all at the Blur for season 20.
0.
Hang out. We'll see you then.
Bye.
Bye.